Well, hello, everyone. And I hope you are having an awesome Saturday afternoon and weekend. My name is Don Terrell, and you are joining me for another great episode of The Color of Motion, where I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds in the field of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. This space that I love so much. Again, like I said, I hope you're having a great weekend. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can. We are here every Saturday afternoon, as you know. This is Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can always catch me live on my Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn page. Of course, you know the drill. Hey, Miss Salve Black, tuning in from YouTube. Appreciate you, Miss Salve. Was a great guest. So super excited to have you joining us. Again, let me know where you're tuning in from, because I always like to give, I guess, a shout out. You know the drill, making sure that we are broadcasting from all of our channels. Obviously, YouTube is working because Salve is tuning in and threw in a comment, but let me make sure that I am broadcasting on my other channels there. If you're tuning in from Facebook, you may need to give StreamYard permission so that I can see your comment and your lovely face. If you need to, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, give StreamYard permission to pull your avatar and everything from Facebook, so I can give you a shout out, of course. Miss Karen Golden. Hey, Don, Karen from New York. I appreciate you tuning in there, Miss Karen. Tuning in from LinkedIn, as always. Making sure that, of course, since she posted from LinkedIn, obviously LinkedIn is going live, but I still always like to make sure. So thank you, Karen, for tuning in for sure. I'm so appreciative of that. Again, I would like, if you are tuning in from LinkedIn or Facebook, make sure you hop on over to my YouTube page and subscribe. That way you can check out not only the live episode, but all the other past episodes that we've had. We've had some great shows so far, and it's hard to believe that I'm on episode 22 right now, and it's going great. Subscribe, youtube.com/Don Terrell. Comment, give me a thumbs up, show me a little love, because I'm really looking forward to making this, my YouTube channel, a great place for content, for sure. So we look like we are going pretty good on all the channels. So I think, ready to go. Again, make sure that you give me a shout out. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Always throw me some hearts, some comments. It always lets me know that, hey, okay, I'm on the right direction. I'm doing all right. Okay. So with that said, I think we're about ready to dive into this. I know my guest is ready. I've been super excited to have her on this, and we were talking a little bit before the show. Like I said, this was an interesting one, getting ready for this show, and you'll see why when I bring her on. But it was great, really prepping for the show, going through her content, really formulating some interesting questions. So, like I said, super excited to have her on, and been looking forward to this for a while now. All right. She was born and raised in a Navy family. We have a little of that in common. My brother was in the Navy, so Navy brat, Navy family, and moved around frequently till she was 13. She learned that a home is not a building, but a place where all your loved ones are both blood related and the friends that you make along the way. She's been drawing and making worlds since she was a kid, but it was always encouraged to be a hobby, not a profession, because of the starving artist stereotype. And trust me, I'm familiar with that as well. So she chose the safe option and put all her outdoor adventuring to use by becoming a geologist. We're going to dive into that as well. Geologist. After establishing a career as an environmental scientist, again, being safe and going where the jobs and money were, she didn't feel happy with her safe choices. So in 2017, after talking with a friend about the lack of diversity for magical girls, she began creating worlds, again with her passion project, Magical Girl Keeya, which we are going to dive into deeply because it's a really great story. In January 2021, she got laid off at her day job as an environmental scientist. And with the severance package, she decided to invest it in her career and going after art. So right now, she's working on a novel, comic, screenplay, and 3D modeling. She loves Keeya and wants it to reach as many people as possible. And I do too, which is why I have her on. She is the main character in her life. So if she can't find studios that are willing to back her and share, she will do it herself. She will learn to animate. She will learn to direct. Her passion for this story could tear down the sky. Everybody, please help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mrs. Elizabeth Lyon. Oops. There we go. Thank you, Miss Elizabeth. We always got to bring you on with the cheer. Yeah. Welcome, Miss Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining the Color of Motion family. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
All right. I got to throw them a little heads up before we got to get in here. Miss Alicia. Hey, we were just talking about you, Alicia, before.
We were talking about you, girl.
In a good way, in a great way. We were just mentioning you. So looking forward to having you back on. But I'm glad you two got connected. So that's good. My little brother, Mr. Michael Clancy. Big brother Don Elizabeth. I'm in the building from Illinois. Appreciate you tuning in, little brother there. Mr. Kevin Toon.
That's my husband.
All right, Mr. Kevin Toon. Appreciate you. Yes, we'd have been talking about you. If you hadn't have come on and supported your wife, then something's wrong. All right? Something's wrong. Mr. Raul Castro, appreciate you tuning in from YouTube, coming in to support and check out the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Miss Shannon Icorn, appreciate you tuning in as well. YouTubers, I'm glad YouTube.
Yeah, I told you I got an army, man. I got my friends. I was like, guys, come on, you got to check out this show. I've been promoting it for over a month now with them. Just like, guys, you got to check this out. This guy is great.
Yes, I'm so glad that you are tuning in. Please make sure you comment on this show, give it a thumbs up because that's only going to help it out even more. Wow, Mr. Raul from Ecuador. Holy, my first international from Ecuador tuning in. All right, that's good. I appreciate that, Mr. Raul, for tuning in all the way from Ecuador. Miss Alicia again, awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Yes. It was really good. So I'm so looking forward to, like I said, diving into this interview. And we kind of talked about this a little before the show, but it was interesting getting prepared for the show. So initially, like you said, go ahead and say what your first comment was when I first approached you to be on the show. Because that
So,
kind of leads into the little story there. So go ahead, Elizabeth.
so like I connected with you through, I think it was comic books, like a comic book LinkedIn group, and you're just like, you just came with a message. You're just like, hey, I want you on the show, and I was like, all right. So I'm like Google, I'm like color and motion, and I look at all your past videos from like I think it was November through January, and I was like, does he know? Should I tell him? I'm like, white as printer paper.
And see, eventually, like I said, eventually my reason for having her on was because, like I said, our artwork, but she was a woman, and so a woman, I hadn't thought about it from, I guess, the white point of view initially. And then, as I started to read your, work and see what you were doing, I was like, okay, this should be interesting having her on here talking about what she's doing and the fact that she's white. So, like I said, initially it was because she fell into being a woman, and like I said, that's not the typical thing that's put out there. So it fell into the diverse category. So super excited. I always start. What were you like as a child? I mean, obviously you were, kind of creative, but did it start that way?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at
I gotta
Alicia.
post comments on here so you know why we're laughing.
Yeah.
Miss Alicia, see, I wasn't gonna say it, but we're here to have some fun, for sure.
I have very hard skin. As a woman, you kind of have to have hard skin, you got to be prepared. And
Oh,
oh man, but
this is too fun. Oh man, Mr. Michael Morgan, yes, Don, keep it diverse. I'm trying to keep it diverse, And I thought about it, and I felt, and it's funny, and this is kind of getting off track a little too, but not quite. But as I thought about it, I was like, man, am I going kind of past what, my initial plan for the show was, which was to highlight people of color. And then I thought about it, and I said, no, she's a woman, and she's comics, just the fact that she's white is just, it was a happenstance. So
yeah.
yes, Alicia, whitey's paper. So that, we love Elizabeth being a part of the family. That's what it's all about. So it's all love on Don's show. We don't discriminate. No, we don't.
Thank you, Michael.
We don't discriminate. Although we, like I said, the show is highlighting diversity, and she's diverse. So we're gonna dive into. What were you like as a child?
I was everywhere. My poor parents, they were very patient. They let me do anything I wanted to do. I wanted to do tap at one point. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be a flight attendant. I wanted to be so many different things, and they were all like, okay, but they were very practical about it. They were like, this is what you're going to have to do to get to this goal. Like, you want to be an astronaut, better get some math, better learn your math.
Yeah.
If you want to be a tap dancer, well, we're gonna have to try ballet first for a little bit. And then when all my siblings and I, we were all on the swim team, because that was one thing that my dad pushed for all of us. He's like, I don't care what you do, I don't care what it is, but you need to be in a sport. It could be chess club, it could be decathlon, it could be horseback riding, whatever it is, you need to be in a sport. Yeah. Because he says that it will teach you things that a classroom could never teach you. And it's very true. And I incorporate a lot of the things that I learned from being on a team into Magical Girl Keeya, because it is a team of magical girls.
Yeah.
And sometimes personalities headbutt each other. You have disagreements. And some of those could be very catastrophic. I mean, for a sport, it could be a loss of a game, or it could be a result of an injury.
Yeah.
And then for Magical Girl Keeya, it could be the loss of a companion. It could be an injury of a companion, or it could be loss of the mission, or other things like that. So lots of important things learned through teamwork, and it's very important. And it's important to become a team with people from all walks of life. That was like the true thing that I learned from being on a team, was that everybody's different. Everybody has their own opinions, their own backgrounds, and they're all valuable.
Yeah. So do you feel like because your parents wanted something practical for you, but you went a different route, do you feel like that was the route they kind of wanted you to go, or that was the route you were thinking that you should go into geology and into science, as opposed to just straight going into art is what I want to do, and art is what I have a passion for doing?
Well, I had a passion for science as well. It wasn't like, yes, it was safer, but it was something that I still chose. I still loved geology. And in fact, I incorporate it in my art. All of my characters of my villains, my fantasy world, they're all named after minerals, and they're all have personalities kind of with the minerals. Like if the mineral is of a softer level or rank, or I forget the exact word for it right now, but if they're softer, then they kind of have a softer personality. Little fun things like that. And to be honest, science and art aren't really all that different. They all revolve around asking questions. With science, it's how does this work? How did this come to be? With art, it's how do I make this like prettier? How do I make this darker? How do I make this character happier? How do I make this character challenge? It's all about asking questions, the right questions. So they're actually not that different.
Awesome. So you, like I said, you initially, and we're going to dive a little deeper into Magical Girl Keeya, but you got kind of the seed from your friend, talking with your friend about having more diverse, magical girls. Was there hesitant when when it first came up about could I do this? Should I do this? How can I do this? Was there that question in your mind when you first started to write Magical Girl Keeya?
Oh my God, yes. And it's even as of yesterday, I still had those thoughts. Because she's Black, it has been very difficult. It has been, honest to God, terrifying sometimes, because I'm worried that people will just look at my bio picture and look at her and just full on judgment. Just oh my God, she's white. How does she think she can, like, and they're assuming that it's going to involve racism in it. That's and I mean, it's very safe to assume. That's very safe to assume.
Yeah.
But I made sure that when I made Magical Girl Keeya, that I kind of got my way into some blurred groups, some Black nerd groups. I've started, and not to comment or share my work at all. I'm just there to listen.
Yeah.
I just go in there and I listen to what they like, and they're very similar to any other nerds, honestly. But I found that they are very, they love the underdog story because it kind of reflects in their real life. And as a woman, I feel the same way as well. A lot of times I'll be watching these big epic anime fights of like the underdog, and I relate to it because I feel that way in the real world as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like where my work as a scientist was constantly put into question. What did you look at this? Did Steve look at this? Did they look at that? It's just like, do they have to?
Yeah.
But anyway.
And I always say that it really always does boil down to story. We all share, and I've had this, conversation and kind of talking with a lot of other guests. We all feel the same things. We all, want the same things. We all laugh. We all love. We all cry. We all have these same emotions. Although I do feel like there was this thing that when all the social unrest started kicking off, that people were kind of feeling like, okay, is this a safe place for me to say or express my emotions? And saw that a lot especially with like voiceover. White people voicing Black characters and that type of thing, which I think it was more the stereotype that it kind of came
Yeah.
across. What do you feel like, being a part of these groups has helped you with, or what do you think that you come out of it with, just the whole experience of writing Black Magical Girl Keeya and really being a part of the groups?
And it's that what the takeaway that I've gotten from it a lot, especially recently, was that being a person of color is different for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're Latinx, or if you're African, or if you're American, if you're European. Everybody sees things differently, sees their culture differently, and values it in different ways. So one thing I found that was very interesting was, you've been talking about the movie Soul a lot in a couple of past
Yeah,
episodes.
yeah,
And I watched the behind the scenes of the director who made the barbershop scene. And he's like, the barbershop for me, it's going to be different for every Black person. They're going to feel about it differently. So if you ask one person versus another, like what they think a barbershop would look like, you're going to come up with like 20 different ones.
yeah,
So that's something that makes me feel a little bit better, but I still pay very close attention to as many details as possible and treat it with the utmost respect. And I know I'm going to mess up. I know that I'm not going to be perfect with it, that I might fall into a stereotype that I didn't get a chance to do enough research in. But like, I've been doing research for about 2 years now into hair type. Actually, when we go over a lot of some of the character sheets that I sent over later on,
yeah,
I will have character sheets of her in just all the different hairstyles.
yeah.
Yes.
As you
So
can see, like I said, this is some of Elizabeth's work, Magical Girl Keeya, and some of the style sheets that she put together, and character kind of outlines. Such great work. And like you were saying, you really took a kind of the extra step of doing what you feel is your due diligence in really being kind of authentic to the character.
So yeah, so she has 4C hair, so she has really tight curls. And I'm going to show in the comic, I'm going to show her having her hair done, her hair braided, moisturized, washed, and her mom's going to do it. She's going to sit in her mom's lap while her mom's doing it. And there's even going to be a couple of very touching scenes revolved around hair, because hair represents a lot for women in comics and anime and stuff. Typically, with a lot of Asian anime and stuff like that, they will symbolize cutting hair as like a big growth spurt. Like even in Avatar: Last Airbender,
Yeah,
when Zuko and Iroh were on the run, they went ahead and they cut off their top knots, and it was very symbolic of like, we are gone from the past kind of stuff. And so with Keeya, she joins the Magical Child Army as a magical girl. And when she joins it, like the night before she joins it, her mom unbraids her hair, and she goes back to her natural afro. And then, all throughout her journey or whatever, she will have various styles that her caretaker will do for her. Each magical girl team has a caretaker.
yeah.
Um, and they are all trained on how to do all the different hairstyles for all the hair types and stuff. So Keeya will be able to have braids, and she'll have box braids. She'll have the little Afro poos, which I think are adorable. um,
And everybody, and the show links will be, and all these links will be in the show notes. But please make sure you go and check out the story. Like I said, I had a chance to read through it. It's such a great story, and you do a very, very good job at visually kind of building this world. As I was reading it, I saw everything that you were kind of describing and kind of putting together. So you were very good at kind of building this visual picture of this whole magical world and Keeya and who she was personally and her family and all of that she's going through. So please, everybody, please make sure that you go through and read it, because it is a very compelling, interesting story. How do you see it? Do you see it as 2D, 3D? in animation or anime style? Because
I
that's
see it anime style.
that's how
I
I'm
know.
kind of seeing it. It looks like, okay, she kind of, it seems like she kind of wrote this in anime. It just seemed anime style.
Yes. Goal achieved.
So it was very good. Another thing I did notice, kind of as I was reading it, it had a very kind of military undertone. Did you pull that from your kind of military lifestyle and
Yep.
how you grew up?
Yep. And then also I have a lot of friends who are also veterans as well, and they're dealing with a very chaotic system right now with the VA and stuff like that. So like a lot of I listen. I'm a listener. I absorb everything around me like a sponge, and I take it all in and I piece it all together. So yeah, the million tones are from family experience as a kid, and then also from friends who are in it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I kind of picked that up as I was going through. I was like, this a very military undertone to it, which, like I said, everybody, please, you need to go read it because, like I said, you'll understand what I mean when I say that. What are you hoping that kind of people walk away from the story when they're reading it?
Well, the a lots of things. There's going to be a lot of characters, and actually, two of the main characters are black, and then one is Indian, and then the other one is French. So you take that Hollywood, there can be two main black characters, and it'll be fine.
Hey, Hollywood already knows. Hollywood already knows with Black Panther, the whole cast could be,
Right?
the whole cast could be,
Totally awesome.
still make money.
Do
So,
more.
but is there a like I said, you got a lot of things going on and a lot of topics and points that you're hitting. But is
Yes.
there an overall kind of thing that you would hope people walk away from when they read it and see it?
Yes, that you don't have to wait for some magic thing to come along in order to make a difference. That is the keyest big thing. It's something that I talk about very early on in the chapters. She doesn't feel like she can make a difference in the world in the war against these evil invading creatures until she becomes a magical girl. Like she just can't imagine any other way. But again, she's also a kid, um, so what it teaches her is that when she joins this army, when she becomes a team member, she kept thinking that she had to be magical, but then when she realizes that wasn't necessarily what she needed. She just had to be herself. She had to bring herself to the world. She had to show her to the world. And that's what made the real difference, was just her being herself. Her thoughts, her ideas, they mattered. That's what I want people to take away from it. And yeah.
No, well, that's good. That's good. I mean, obviously, your goal and your hope is to make this into an animated film, animated short. Like I said, just something to get it going. How do you feel like people? I mean, obviously, you kind of think in your mind, like you said, you kind of worry about it, but how do you feel like people will receive it? From coming from you.
I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is that I can't let that stop me from creating something that might affect people in a positive way.
Yeah.
Like the whole reason why I did this was because I was talking to my friend. I was watching an old anime, Cardcaptor Sakura. It's a magical girl anime. I have the cloud cards like back here.
She's just animated out all around, as you can see.
Check out my manga. And I got I love, especially recently, I found that a lot of manga that I used to read as a kid were actually written by women. I didn't even really know that until later because I'm not very familiar with the with Japanese names, like what is considered female or male. So I was like, "What? That was written by like Full Metal Alchemist? That was written by a woman? Like it's so action packed, and it stars like two male main characters, and it's just lots of fights, lots of science, and it's just like, That was written by a woman? Yes! One for the team!
Oh my God. Oh my, you obviously have a thing for anime, and love anime. What is it about anime that just grabs you?
The emotions that they are able to portray in the type of art style is so unique, and they just the larger eyes, the weird expressions. I love looking through my Clip Studio Paint
Mm,
software, and it has like little shiver lines. It has like words that are just like ticked off and angry and and like they're just little things that you could put over like a character. Like it's so unique, and I just love the emotion. That's something that I find very interesting. That's something that grabs everybody. Um, so that's
Do
fun.
you see do you see the climate changing now with more diverse characters, or what are your thoughts of what you're seeing with the things coming out? Like I said, I just saw I don't know, and I don't know if you've seen Raya and the Last Dragon, which was awesome animation.
Awesome fights.
How do you feel studios, core studios, I would say, still have a long way to go? But how do you feel like they're doing now during this time with really putting more diverse content and showing more diversity with all the stuff that they're doing?
I think it's great, but again, there can always be more, and that's the whole reason why I'm kind of doing this as well, is because like I feel like we need to not necessarily like tiptoe around the subject more, but like just go in, ask the questions, do
Yeah,
the research, show
yeah,
the proper respect, and get it done.
yeah.
Like it's just, I mean, but it's also kind of, it's good to be I don't know how to put it. Never mind. But I'm just like it's
Well,
good. Like I like the fact that Ray was like a female like warrior that she fought and stuff. Like that was awesome.
yeah, yeah. And again, I always say, it still always comes back to the essence of what the story is about. Because
Yeah.
regardless of whether the character or all the characters are one race or another, we all
Mhm.
still should walk away from the film or the movie feeling something because we connected with the story.
Right.
There's always little nuances within the culture, but story again is how we all connect, we all feel things, and all kind of like I said, love, laugh, cry. We all feel those type of emotions.
Yeah.
People, again, if you're just jumping in, we're having a great conversation with my friend Elizabeth. Say hello. Say, let us know where you're tuning in from. We always want to give you a shout out, and we're here talking Magical Girl Keeya. Do you feel like this is your kind of space, fantasy? Magical type, is this the kind of space that you like being in, or are you looking to kind of explore into other kind of genres within animation and the animated style?
You read it, you tell me. Do you think I'm good at it?
Well, obviously you're good, like I said, and of course you have to read it, but obviously you're good at really creating such a visual world, and this was really good. A magical fantasy story. But
Yeah.
are you
Uh,
looking to dive into, like I said, horror, or I mean, or just
no.
other type of, maybe, and I've had this conversation with other artists and designers. They're comfortable and they like children's style animation. They love it. They love more adult themed and more, kind of other types of animation, but they're the crux of what they do, and what they like doing is like Pixar style
Yeah.
children's animation style stories. So is this kind of what you enjoy doing, or and feel like this is your best spot, or are you looking to create other stories?
I think I'm going to kind of stick with the animation route. I feel like, I mean, not while I'm setting up the fantasy world, there will be a lot of humor. There are little quips here and there in Keeya, but I would love to do a comedy series.
Mm,
Um, so, but again, in very anime style. I have a couple of other ideas, but Keeya is like my main one right now. And I love fantasy. I love how anything is possible. It's kind of like Thanos, like he's just like, no, reality can be whatever I want it to be, and
yeah,
that's exactly how it is. And I love bringing. I feel like as artists, it's our job to show the world what it could be.
yeah, yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like that's our purpose as artists. We can show people that hey, if you strip away all the stuff that you're familiar with, this is what it could be.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's such uh, a palatable format to kind of present that idea or thought. And it's funny that you said that, because really that was the whole kind of purpose of Star Trek, and why Gene Roddenberry wrote it as a sci-fi, because all the social comments that he can make and social commentaries were a lot more well hidden, or a lot more palatable in a science fiction format.
Be nice to
So
aliens. Like that's the whole point of Star Trek. Be nice to aliens. Don't be mean to Data.
oh man, it's such a great, such
Am
a
I
great.
wrong?
Oh man, yeah. But like I said, it was so skillfully. Like I said, you were watching. Your mind was taking it in as a sci-fi, but like I said, he was making all these social comments on different things, whether it be war or race, just all these other things that have. If you go back and watch it, you'll see it. And like I said, at the time, it's just so wrapped up in such an engaging story, sci-fi story, that you're not really taking it in as that right off the bat.
Yeah.
And like I said, you do such a great job of visually telling a world. Um, were you good at writing? I mean, obviously you didn't take writing. Well, I don't know. Maybe you did take writing classes.
Nope.
Uh, you're just
I
great at storytelling then.
Thank you. But I learned everything from YouTube from a YouTube user called Hello Future Me. His name is Tim, and he's from New Zealand, and he does great docu series on how to write, and he makes it very interesting. He uses real world examples, and I'm not talking about just books. I'm talking about shows too. He uses Avatar: The Last Airbender a lot because it is God, it's perfect. Avatar: Last Airbender is perfect, and you'll never prove it otherwise to me. I actually trying to emulate that peak writing from Avatar: The Last Airbender into my writing, Magical Girl Keeya. I look at and I research at what they did and how they made it work, and fans' reactions to it as well. And I'm just like, what do they like about it? Like, and mostly it's just about the redemption arc and stuff like that. Is one of the best things that they've done. Um, so I've been doing writing off and on since like high school. I wrote a comic that was pretty much a copy word for word of Sailor Moon. It will never see the light of day, ever. Originality was not my strong suit.
Oh man. Oh man.
And
Oh
then
man.
I did a pirate one in college, and I actually had my mom proofread it because she's an English major, and she taught all of us kids, how to read and write. Because with a Navy family, we moved all the time, so
Yeah,
it was hard going from school to school. So instead, she's like, "I'm just going to homeschool you all guys."
yeah.
So I was like, "Mom, read my work."
So how do I mean? Like I said, how are they seeing, feeling about what you're doing now with just pursuing your dream and your story? Is it like you said, they're behind you as long as you go 100% at it?
Yeah. Well, when I got laid off, I called them, and I was in tears, of course, because there was this big part of my life that was now over. I've been working in the environment industry for 8 years. I installed wells, I did sampling, I did a lot of consulting work for people who live near pipelines and stuff like that. Um, and again, like you got to take what life throws at you, even if it's not exactly what you wanted. I still have a lot of fond memories. Like I did a lot of things that I will never do, like again, kind of stuff. But like as soon as I told him, I said, you know what, guys, I'm going to take this chance. Like I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go into the art industry. I'm going to learn animation. I'm going to learn 3D modeling, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm learning Blender, doing 3D. You'll see it on my LinkedIn profile. My LinkedIn profile is very like bipolar. It is Keeya and whatever I'm learning in Blender.
Again, we're going to throw all these links up in the show note. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into Magical Girl Keeya and where that's going. But first, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. And we're back. We are back. Back here with my friend Elizabeth Lyon, comic book artist and extraordinaire, doing great things. And we are talking about her novel and comic book, Magical Girl Keeya. Where did you get the essence of the story? I mean, you wanted to do magical girls, but how did you go about putting all of these elements together? And of course, everybody, like I said, you have to read it to really get the again, the link here keeps going down. The link here, which will be in the show notes, will be up. But take the opportunity to read it. How did you go about kind of crafting, like I said, the world? You pulled a little bit from your Navy background. Of course, you were part of a lot of blurred groups, Black nerds, and really took in a lot of things. How did you come to this crux of a magical girl fighting these beings or these monsters?
Little snakes. I wanted them to be really cool.
I didn't want to completely give it away, but you know.
No, like it's okay. Like it's okay to give like some minor spoilers because well, like they're not really spoilers. I'm hoping that they're going to actually be hooks for people to really want to read in on it.
And actually there is. Like I said, it kind of ended on, I was like, okay, she must have some other stuff that she's, because like I said, it was like just this stop right there at that last scene. And I'm like, okay, she's got some more coming. I'm looking forward.
Wait, which one was the last chapter that you read?
the fight one. I think
okay.
It was the last chapter in the thing. So I read the whole thing, where she was
chapter.
And you know, they were all coming together to fight. So how did you kind of, like I said, kind of start to formulate this whole story in your mind?
Okay, so as you know, spoilers, I love anime. I watch a lot.
Videos behind her. She loves anime. Yeah, you didn't see all of that.
I love anime so much. I watch it all. I keep up to date with all of the seasons coming out. And sorry, I'm laughing at my husband's comment.
Her husband threw up something. I get spoilers all. I don't want to read it. Yeah, I would hope so.
I told you he's my soundboard. I'm just like, what if we did this? And like we write chapter outlines together. And that's one thing. If you are a writer, if you are a comic book artist, get the skeleton done. Like even down to the teeny tiny little finger bones, it will be worth it because it will make the writing process so much easier. But anyway, so this all kind of started with typically what happens in a Magical Girl series is some kind of animal companion will come along from either a different planet or different dimension or something like that. It'll choose a random girl on the street who's the main character. They'll give her magical powers, and she has to fight these oops, lost my earbud. She has to fight these evil forces from the other planet. Because like they're just like, save my world, and they're just like, only you can do it because you're special.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody wants to feel special. That's why I watch them. I love them. But what I want, and the thing is that they have to keep it secret from their family for reasons. And like, no idea why. Like, it makes sense in superhero movies to keep your identity secret because, you know, as soon as your information is leaked, like, people can come and hurt your friends and family, and that would really suck. Yeah. But with Magical Girls, it's very different. Like, they just hide it.
Yeah, yeah. And she was really adamant about being a magical girl.
Yes.
That's like, man, she is just really dogged about being a magical girl. She just, and was so afraid that her parents would not let her do that.
Yes. So that's the question I asked myself is, what if they didn't have to hide it? What if everybody knew that Magical Girls existed? What if there were so many of them that, and only they could fight this evil force, because that's how it is in anime. Only they can fight it. And typically with a lot of the anime, it's because they don't want to tell their parents because they're worried that they'll worry about them. They'll be like, I don't want mom and dad to worry. And it's just like, well, they kind of worry when you're missing in the middle of the night and you don't tell them where you are. Yeah. Like, they're already worried. Yeah. So that's the question I asked was, what if they weren't a secret? What if everybody knew? How would that affect the world? How would that affect our society as it is right now?
Yeah.
So that's how you
is that kind of the which I've kind of heard before, is asking yourself questions about what if to start this writing process.
Yes. And like I said, like, that's how science and art are very similar. You just got to keep asking questions. So with Keeya, it was like, what if they were a real thing? Would they be militarized? Would that be ethical? You know, stuff like that. And all the questions came out. And so the
which is what I got from I was like, man, this is really, like I said, it has such a military undertone to it and theme running through it. And you painted it very well. And like how you had the kids in this kind of training and dorm and all the world. Like I said, you got to read it to really
and
get it.
I kind of got that from the Percy Jackson series, which I loved. I read those starting in college, actually. When I was I was taking advanced physics classes, and those are mind benders. So, but I'd still want to read at night. So I went to the kids section and found Percy Jackson series, and they were so easy to digest, so easy to read, but still very funny. So the idea of like, hey, you've got the kids of gods who need to learn to defend themselves. So they go to camp and they go training. And that's how you kind of make it a bit more ethical. It's like, yes, they are kids, but if they don't learn this, they're going to die. They need to learn to fight this invasive species. Otherwise, they will die. Otherwise, everybody will die. So that's kind of how you bridge the ethical gap kind of thing going on there with, you know, using kids in the army and stuff. And they're educated, and for some mysterious reason, the kids lose their magical powers when they turn 16-ish.
Yeah, I saw that. I want to throw a few more comments here. Mr. Michael, can't go wrong with art. Art is life and love. You got to get into Maya. He wants you to get into Maya, though.
I've been hearing that they're just like, you'll dump Blender. You'll dump her.
I thought he was going to say ZBrush there for a second, which you probably are thinking that, Michael. ZBrush, because he's...
Whatever it takes to make Keeya, I don't care what I need to learn. I will learn it. I don't care how long it takes.
Oh, man. I tell you, like I said, you in your mind, you see this as being a very big thing, and very a very influential and very powerful movie. Don't
we all? Like, isn't that how we I'm inspired by all these other creators and stuff like that who dream big and who are just like, yeah, like this is like my idea, and like I love Keeya so much. Like she is my baby. I love all of the characters, especially like as we saw in some of the art, like the guy with the blue hair. His name is Cobalt. He is my favorite character. He is so much fun to write. Yes. So the guy in blue, his name's Cobalt. He is one of the generals. He is one of the villains. But he is very just kind of a free spirit. Like he's following the orders of the Empress, who you see over in the armor. That is our main antagonist. She is called the Empress of Ash. Her name is Regalia. And she is from where the origin of the magic came from. So,
okay,
magic came from this world. Like again, it's very stereotypical. It's not really a spoiler because it's very stereotypical magical girl. So I do follow some plot structures.
Yeah.
So the magic seeped into our world, and these people, they want it back.
Yeah.
And so they send the General Cobalt. They send the snakes come, and they're just like we got to get the magic back. We got it. It's ours. It's ours.
Yeah. Now you haven't introduced them yet in the
no, not yet. Like actually, in the next chapter, Cobalt shows up, and I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed reading it, and like I said, it was just how some you can read and you just visually have a hard time seeing the world, but with you, it was, and this story it was really easy to see. Really easy to see. How do you obviously how does your friend see the friend who initially got you in the conversation? What did she think about it, and how did she like the story?
She loves it. She thinks it's great. I feel really embarrassed to say this, but I was very like as you mentioned earlier, the social unrest and stuff like that. A lot of white people started asking questions, and they went to Black people for all the answers, and some of them don't feel emotionally charged to answer those questions, and they shouldn't either. If they don't feel comfortable, if they are willing to talk to me, to talk to anybody about it, about what's going on in these days, like all the more power to them, all the more compassion to them, because they are great people. But it's not their job. It's not their job to tell us. So unfortunately, I didn't really know this back then, but when I talked to her and a couple of other Black friends that I have, I was asking them all kinds of questions about like their hair and skin routines, anything I could, because I wanted to incorporate it in Keeya. I wanted her to be very authentic. I wanted her to be very relatable. And there are differences in like in hair routine and stuff like that are very different that I had no idea about. So she pointed me very early on that she's like, I cannot represent every Black girl. And I was like,
and I think and I get it, we're not representatives of everything, but I will say that I think, and I've said this before, I don't think true change really happens until we're really ready to ask these kind of hard questions. And I think asking questions is better than assuming and make the assumptions that some people make, as opposed to asking, well,
right,
how obviously our hair textures are different. I mean, what's it like for you with your hair texture? Asking those kind of questions and being open to asking those kind of questions is really the only way this country is going to kind of start to mend this racial divide, because we're afraid to have these conversations that a white person or a person like you might have questions but be afraid to ask, because it's like, okay, am I across as being racist if I ask this question, or would they rather just assume or make these assumptions? And me personally, I would rather you ask the question, and if it's a question that I feel like, well, maybe you could word it differently, or maybe it comes across differently, then have that conversation. But I would still rather you ask the question, or if there's something that you're not sure of, because how are we going to learn about each other? How is anybody going to learn about each other unless they ask questions and really make a concerted effort to learn and to understand? But I get the
Yeah.
from your friend.
But she loves it. She loves Keeya's afro. When I first showed her my very first sketches, which are, again, never going to see the light of day. They are terrible. Like, talk about glow up. Oh my God. But she loved the afro. She's like, oh my God, the afro is so cute. And I'm just like, you really think so? I think so too. I think she's so adorable. And I loved like all the ribbons and all this stuff. And that was actually something that Keeya, she doesn't like ribbons. She's very like, loves comfort. But like there's one person who actually designs all of the costumes himself. His name is Alexander, and he will again be showing up in the next chapter. So please stay tuned for that, because he's a fun character to learn. He's the one who designs all of the costumes for all the girls. And there will be a lot of them. Like, as soon as I get into like the comic aspect, like I make character sketches, I make costume sketches for all the characters, even background characters, because all that's very important early on in the process, because it just makes things so much easier. Because all you have to do is just like look it up, be like, oh yeah, that's the color. Beep.
Yeah. It really does make the writing process a lot easier when you flesh out everything, all the little minor details that a lot of other people would think are minor. So what's been the biggest piece of advice that somebody's given you along this journey, even from early on, that's kind of stuck with you and you've kind of gone back to?
I'm not really sure. I've had a lot of friends. It's taken a village to kind of help build this. A lot of different people, even people I haven't met, actually. Like the author from my favorite series, it's called Yona of the Dawn. I am obsessed with it, as my husband knows. I watch it all the time. oh my God. He's just like, watching it again. I'm like, yes, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Look how awesome she looks. Come on. And this is it's written by a woman. And tell me, even as a boy, you wouldn't want to read this. Look at all the swords and stuff. This is awesome. But anyway, so I love the advice that she gives, because she has these little side panels in the manga where she talks about her day and talks about like as she was storyboarding a certain scene, what she was doing, what she was reading or eating or something like that. It's really fun. And one of the things she talks about is she's just like, she's like, use everything around you for the story, because everything that happens in your life happened in someone else's life. Yeah. So, and that's something I've really taken. So as you mentioned, as you saw, like the very military aspect of it, I took a lot of that into Keeya. And also as an athlete, I was a college athlete and a high school athlete. I was on the rifle team, and I went to Colorado for the Junior Olympics. And so when you're there, you're in this huge facility that is for all these international people. So you've got people from all kinds of like backgrounds with different food preferences and living quarter preferences. And I use a lot of that into the headquarters for Keeya.
I noticed that, the languages and everybody.
Yeah, the little Bluetooth thing that they use to translate everything. I wish I had one of those back then, because I met a lot of people. I met some people from Brazil. I met people from all over the place, and I was like, man, like I really wish I could like just talk to them. There's that language barrier.
That's a hard. I kind of learned this from one of the episodes, one of my past episodes. Just the importance of. I mean, we kind of take for granted, at least over here we do. We take for granted that everybody speaks English, and that's not the case. But it's such a how trying to communicate and get your understanding across, because a lot of things, of course, get lost in translation. So it's such a integral part of us as a society. How do we communicate with each other, even when we don't understand each other language-wise? For sure is a big thing. If you could, I was kind of like, again, everybody, if you're just tuning in or catching the replay, this is my good friend Elizabeth, and we have been talking a lot about just her beginning as a Navy brat, getting into her passion, Magical Girl Keeya, with an anime, as you can see all around her love for anime. And it's amazing how because I'm starting to see a lot of especially action style animes. A lot of content creators are starting to create more diverse Black anime style. And I don't know if you ought to check it out. It's really good. Black Samurai. That's
Yes.
anime. Very good. I have that on DVD. I don't have it.
I saw the preview of it, and unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit too gory for me. I'm not much into horror. You did mention earlier, you're like, what type of stuff you want to do? And you mentioned horror. I'm like, no.
But the visual style of it, like I said, outside of the gore, the visual style of it is just...
Yes, I do love the style.
So amazing and so typically anime. And I don't know if man, and his name just slipped my mind. LaShawn Thomas. Give it to him because he, like I said, was in animation, but moved over to Japan to learn anime and really learn it from all the original people that were creating it. And so his style is really authentically anime, and it has I love it because it's one, the visual art style is just different than it is over here in America, but two, just the cerebral stories that are woven in it of the anime is just different than Disney or Pixar, which I love, but it's such a different style that has a different flair to it for sure. Your husband here, I gotta throw his comment. She's incorrigible.
I like to say that my optimism is contagious.
Is he there? Bring him on camera so we can... Pop your head in there, Kevin, so we can see. She's incorrigible. I love her for it. Yeah,
I tell you, in the pre-interview. I was like, I'm so excited to hear someone else's voice say "Magical Girl Keeya" because I talk about it so much with all my friends. They're probably getting like sick of it. Like they're just like, oh my god, he's so great, so patient.
A D&D fan, so that kind of
yes.
That as well. He is a D&D fan. But anime trope, the anime trope. Yes, I see you also the earthly language.
It's like that in like DC Comics too, like with Starfire. Like I liked how it was interesting how she had to learn the earth language through like kissing and stuff like that. But like other than that, like when you're in her universe or on her planet or whatever, she speaks English. But anyway, so like that was one thing I was trying to make sense of. Everything makes logically and scientifically sense in Magical Girl Keeya. Even the transformation stuff, their special outfits are by nanobots or nanorobots. And the light, like, so typically in transformation sequences, there's this bright light that like, it's like modesty light, so you don't see them naked. The bright light comes from the energy that's given off as the nanites transform into a different shape.
You gotta have an explanation for it. You can't just say, "Oh, she just like again, everybody. Again, everybody. I'm going to be throwing up all these links in the show notes. Like I said, this has been. I'm not sure if Kevin's going to make an appearance.
And here's my husband. Say hi. This is my husband, Kevin. He's a vocalist.
All right. Appreciate you showing up there.
I can't hear what he's saying.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Headphones. But anyway, he says hi.
I appreciate him popping in there for sure and supporting you. Like I said, this has been such a great episode. And I have enjoyed one. I've thoroughly enjoyed reading the story, and really looking forward to you releasing the next, chapters, the next
Yes,
chapters of it.
they're gonna get good. I'm
Uh,
telling you guys, you really gotta like, and like the beginning chapters are really good as well. But I sometimes get too excited. My best friend Nicole read like some of my earlier works, like I told you, like that Sailor Moon knockoff or whatever. I get so excited to get to certain parts that I just kind of skip over them. She goes, "Wait, we were in a village." Now we're fighting. So what happened? How did we get here? And I'm like, oh yeah, you're not in my head. You don't know.
oh man, but
And so that's
it's
yeah.
interesting how, like I said, and what's his name does a real good. I think Marvel does a real good job of how they
Yeah.
interweave little nuggets so that stories connect and characters connect. That you're
Yeah.
not thinking that far ahead, and so that's really where
Yeah.
creator has the
And like I said, Avatar: Last Airbender is a really great one. There's so you can watch it a million times over and catch these little connections. And I try to incorporate that into Keeya as well. So when Keeya goes on like her first mission, she's still kind of new. She's not quite grasped her magic yet, but she needs like some real world experience. So she goes with a crew full of so like with my magical girls, they come in three kinds. They come as an idol.
yeah.
So they do singing. Their magic is in sound waves. They will have their magic come out in sound waves by singing. There'll be guitar. There'll be drums. Step is also going to be another one. Like I loved in high school watching the step teams,
Yeah.
like with the pounding of the feet and the energy and the spirit. I love it. So I wanted to incorporate that as well. So there'll be like big stomping and it'll like just vibrate the whole street and it'll be amazing.
So where did
Um,
the healer come from? The healer. Where?
and then the healer, yeah. So then you've got healer, and then you've got warrior. And the healer comes from a lot of times in anime, the characters will heal magically fast. Like they'll have like some special thing or whatever that makes them heal quickly. Like they'll get like their guts like punched out or whatever, and then they'll be fine like 2 days later. It'd be like magic. So like I kind of wanted a reason for that. Like I wanted the girls to be able to fight and have really big action scenes and not have too many consequences for it. So I needed a healer. And what the healer does is they take the magic, they have a lot of it, they have a lot of extra magic, and they give it to their teammates so that they can stay up to snuff and keep and stay strong. And then with the warrior class, their magic will turn into swords, bows and arrows, all kinds of other things. So with Keeya's first mission, she goes with a team that is full of long range members because if she messes up, they can still have time to run away.
Yeah.
So Marco works with a bow and arrow, and then they've got an idol who does like singing, which all idols are long range.
Yeah.
And then they have another healer, so she joins that team. So even just little things like that, everything I write has a reason, has a purpose, and I'm hoping that fans will someday read it, and I'm hoping to get like some YouTube videos about it to be like, hey, check out this character and what they did and how this ties into later on. Like that's the goal. It's like that's what I want. I'm hoping for some YouTube videos about Keeya, not because of like me. I want it to be all about her and this show. I don't want to be about me. I want to be about her.
Like I said, I'm super excited to see the upcoming chapters because, like I said, I started getting really hooked as she was going off to, the academy and hooking up with all the others, the kids in the dorm and starting to train. And so when she went out on that first mission, I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. And then you stopped it right there. I'm like, okay, so she must have some more. It must have some more chapters. So I'm excited about what's coming down the pipe for Keeya and really seeing you flesh out the story. Like I said, I'm glad that and so excited that you're having a chance to connect with so many other people, not only on through the show.
Got my eye on you guys. I might recruit you later. I'm going to get a team together. We're going to animate Keeya, and it's going to be fantastic.
It takes a village. Nobody can do well. I guess some people could. It takes them a long time if they do it alone. But even then, they have some help somewhere along the way. And I think that, like I said, I've had the opportunity to connect with so many talented people in so many
Yeah.
areas that I'm excited to see. Like I said, where you take Magical Girl Keeya, and like I said, I see it as an anime style animation. So I'm really looking forward to it for sure. Again, I want to be respectful of your time, and again, I'm so looking forward to having you back. Like I said, to continue on and let us know what's going on with Magical Girl Keeya, because I am expecting big things out of it for sure.
There will be about 25 chapters total. So just like you were saying, like there's gonna be more. Yeah. So first season is gonna be 25 episodes, and which I'm hoping will directly correlate into like an animated show. So it helps with the screenwriting part of it. So yeah, about 25. So it kind of gives you an idea of where we are in the overarching 3-act plot.
Again, everybody, I want to throw this link up here, but it will be in the show notes on YouTube. So if you don't have a chance to write it down here, jump over to the YouTube channel, which it will be up by the weekend on the playlist. So you will be able to check it out then. But check out the graphic novel. Also, you can connect with Elizabeth and see more of her stuff on Instagram,
Yep.
_digital. Check her out there and connect with her. She is also on Twitter as well, Magical Girl Keeya.
Yeah.
So definitely, again, Elizabeth, I appreciate you so much being on the show. And sharing your passion for Magical Girl Keeya, because it is really needed. I feel having more diverse magical fantasy girls and kids out there and sharing your story. I applaud you for taking the step yourself and stepping outside of your comfort zone of what you want to do, because it's not easy. A lot of people don't, which is why I think we are in this situation that we're in, because people don't step out of their comfort zone and step into something that they haven't stepped into before. So again, I'm just super excited to have had you on the show, and now you're a part of the Color of Motion family. Thank you for that. Everybody, and if you could, like I said, if you could hang around for just a few minutes backstage while I close out the show, I would appreciate that as well. But everybody, please give again my guest Elizabeth a big round of applause. Check out her stuff, connect with her. If you are in the art space or the industry some kind of way, connect with her, like I said, and help her, see where you can help her with this project. I feel like it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah. And one last thing, actually tomorrow is Keeya's birthday. So come over to my Instagram. I have a birthday card for Keeya, and so come say happy birthday to my character.
Right. This Salve Black, great interview. It was a great interview, Miss Salve. I appreciate that. Mr. Kevin, appreciate you making your appearance, coming down, making your appearance on the show.
He's so behind the scenes and everything. And so like I kind of want to just shove him in the spotlight and be like, look, it's him too.
But definitely your wife is headed in a big direction with this. And like I said, I'm just so super excited to have played a small part in helping bring this to the forefront. Mr. Michael, great show. I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate it. Again, she will be back on for sure, because like I said, there's going to be big things coming down the pipe for Magical Girl Keeya, and I want to put it out there and highlight it for sure. So again, let's everybody thank Miss Elizabeth for showing up and showing out. And again, if you could just hang out for just a quick second while I close out the show, I'd appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Thanks for being on the show, Elizabeth. Everybody. This was a great show. And Elizabeth was a funny person. And again, like I said, you really should read it because it grabs you, and she does leave it off at a cliffhanger there, and makes you want to wait for the next chapters to come out. Again, Magical Girl Keeya. Keeya, check out the Keeya graphic novel. Again, all these links will be in the show notes, and super excited to be sharing them with everybody for sure. But again, this has been a great show. I appreciate everybody that always tunes in and shows up. Again, we are here every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, you can always catch me. Where's it at? I always do that wrong. Always catch me on my Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn page. But again, if you are tuning in from LinkedIn and Facebook, hop on over to my YouTube channel, and you can not only check out this great episode, but you can check out all the other great episodes that I've had so far and all the great guests that I've had so far. Make sure that you give a thumbs up. Make sure you comment on it. I want to see some comments. I want to see some thumbs up. I want to see some love, because that's the only way that's going to help me help my channel and let me know that I'm on the right direction. So I appreciate all of that. Next week is going to be a great show as well. I'm looking forward to my next week's guest. Miss Vanessa Gubel will be on Story Artist Intern from Pixar Animation Studios, and you can see some of her great work and designs as well. So I'm excited to be sitting down with her and talking about her journey and her time at Pixar, what she's got going on now, and where she's planning on going. So it's going to be a great show for sure. With that, man, I'm always nervous when before I start the show, but by the end of the show, it's just, I hate the show when it's over. I hate it when it's over, So I hate to bring this to an end, but it's been a great show, and I appreciate, again, everybody that's tuned in, everybody that catches the replay, and everybody that supports the show. Again, make sure you tune in, because there's going to be some big changes in the next month or so. I'm planning on some big changes for the show, some new things. I always like the show. You can see the new system I'm putting together. And really new camera, new lights, new graphics, just all around new. So I'm excited to be sharing that with you pretty soon. With that, you guys and everybody have a great rest of the day. Have a great weekend. Be kind, and hey, step out of your comfort zone. That's all I can say. So with that, it's peace and love, and I will see you next week.